Welcome to the Running Network Show. Join us each time as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great sport.
Okay, hello everyone. This is Gary Morgan, the Michigan runner, and I have Allison Roe, the 1981 champion of the Boston Marathon, and looking good as ever. She looks fantastic still. And so, Allison, tell us a little bit about how race, and you were fighting it out with Patty Catalano, the top American runner at that time.
Yes, I was, and actually when I came into Boston, are you ready to hold this? When I came into Boston, I don't think anybody really knew me, which was actually quite an advantage, so I was really the underdog. But a month previously I'd been in Japan and I'd been racing there, and I won a 20-kilometer race and found out that I'd set a world's best for that, and that record had been set by Patty Catalano. So I knew she was the woman to beat when I came to Boston, and that was pretty exciting. So, yeah, so you want me to talk about the race itself?
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
about the Boston race.
Okay, I went to, I got to Hopkinton obviously on the race morning, and the only people who had taken any notice of me at all were the Japanese, because they had a lot of film crews here and nobody else did. They followed me around, but and I was intent upon finding Patty Catalano and following her around, which I did. I found her and I just followed her around everywhere, you know, in and out of the bathroom, and everywhere she went I went, and then I stood behind her on the start line. I knew this was the woman I had to stick with if I was going to ever get an invitation back here to Boston. So that's sort of how it went, and then we started off the race, and the pace was a lot quicker than was probably comfortable for me at the time. However, I stuck to Patty like glue, and then about at Wellesley, which was the halfway point, I suddenly started to feel very hot. The sun came out, it was a beautiful day, and I started to lose a bit of concentration. I lost Patty, I lost contact with her. She got about 150 meters ahead, and I then started to kind of, talk to myself and say, well, come on, Allison, we have to move along. And I watched the cadence of her legs, and I decided I just had to make sure that mine were going a little quicker. By the time we got to Commonwealth Avenue, Heartbreak Hill, I had her in my sights, and I realized I was fulfilling my plan. I would catch up to her, take a bit of a breather, have a bit of a rest, and then when I decided to pass her, which was just over the top of the hill, I knew I had to make the move decisive, and I did. I sort of ran past her quite quickly, and she didn't really respond, and I ran away from her, and that was really the beginning and end of the story.
What was your time? You had a very good time.
The course record was 2 hours 34, and I ran 2 hours 26.
Yes, I remember. And even to this day, 2:26 is still usual around the winning time.
Yes, that's right. So it's interesting. Over, 32 years ago? Times, of course, have come down. Let's face it, the world record has moved, but
it's about still the same.
It's interesting to see that quite a lot of the races are won today in similar times to what was run, what I ran at Boston and New York 32 years ago.
Now, did you run very many marathons after that?
I ran New York, and
what years did you run New York?
I won New York in 1981, and set a world's best there. And then
what was that time world best?
2 hours and 25 minutes and 28 seconds.
Okay.
And then after that, I had a very bad injury after that. I had a hamstring injury. And that next summer, I went to Korea. I won the Seoul Marathon. And that was really the last marathon then I came back to Boston to try and qualify for the Olympics, again carrying this injury which had been dogging me for nearly 2 years, and nobody could really diagnose the problem until I had something called a CAT scan, which was new technology then, and then they discovered what it was, and they said it was very bad and it needed surgery. I'd torn the hamstring off the bone, and there was a large hematoma growing in the bone, and it was a nasty mess. So my efforts to come back and run Boston were, I got fit enough to run reasonably well. I ran to the 18-mile mark in second place, and I had to drop out. I had no power left in that leg. It was just bothering me so much. So it was 2 years of training and pain, really, to get to find out what really was the problem. And then after surgery, it wasn't good enough to really do the type of training I needed to for marathoning. So at that point I became involved in triathlons, and I did some cycle racing. So I've remained active all my life, and I love sport, and I still run, although I must admit I have a knee injury right now. As a result of a kickboxing injury. I kickbox for fun.
That's good. You stay active, you try a little bit of everything.
Yes, I go to the gym, I do some swimming, biking, and I was kickboxing, but I don't think I'll be doing that any longer.
Now, where do you live currently? What city in New Zealand?
At the moment, we're living north of Auckland. Auckland's the largest city in New Zealand. We're living 45 minutes north in a smaller country area called Warkworth. There's a township there. And we live on a river on 11 acres, and we have kayak there, so we can get out and kayak down the river. The beach is very close, and we're growing our own vegetables and having a sort of semi-sustainable lifestyle there, which is fantastic.
So this first time back in Boston, almost 30 years, isn't it?
I came back for the 100th celebration.
Okay.
So that's about how many years ago is that? 16 years ago. 16 years ago.
Time goes by very quickly.
Yes, it does. It's lovely to be back, and it's a real honour to be here, and especially in the year where we are celebrating the pioneers of the sport, the women who actually made it happen, the Catherine Switzers and that large group of fabulous women. If it wasn't for them, I would never have been here in 81.
And what are you doing currently in New Zealand?
I'm on a district health board, which is the largest health board in the country. It's a political type of appointment, and apart from that, I'm also involved in property, a property business where I identify beautiful country land and do some subdivisions and plant trees and many other things. Actually, it would take too long to talk about everything I do, but I'm very actively involved in my community.
That's great. Well, thank you for coming back to Boston. You were a great champion in your day back in 81, and good luck with your future endeavors, and enjoy the race you're going to be watching from here or on a press tour.
Well, I'm going to be out at Hopkinton officially starting the women's race,
awesome.
Holding the starter's pistol, I believe.
Oh, that would be great. Well, have fun doing that.
Yes, thank you.
Well, thank you for coming back, and enjoy your stay here in Boston.
Thank you. Good.